hello. Ooh, what is this spooky music? What do we got going on here? Hold on. All right, let's stop that. We don't need that right now. Alrighty, chat. How's it going? Happy Saturday. Hey, there we are. Hope y'all are doing well. At least getting here so we can have some music going on. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Happy Saturday. What are you guys talking about? What's going on here? Alright. You don't do damn sub battles, going to take forever. Probably won't die though, because you're super healy. What are you even talking about? Are you playing Genshin or that other one? What's it called? What's the new not Genshin but Genshin? What's that one? What's that called? Honkai Star Rail, right? That's what's it? Are you playing that? What are you doing? Star Rail. Okay. I don't know what you're doing in that game. I don't understand, but I guess you're having fun. I don't know what I did with my armrest. It was here a second ago, and I'm just like, I reached for it and it's gone. It's fine. You need content? Fine. Alright. We'll dive right into the content then. I don't have too much going on. Anyway, welcome back, y'all. Hope it's all going well. It's hot. It's hot, right? It can't just be me. Alright, I'm gonna turn on the fan, and that's gonna cause some background noise. But it's fucking hot, y'all. So we're just gonna have to deal with that. Yeah, it is quite warm. I hate summer. Summer's like the worst. Sun is on our side. That does explain why I'm baking right now, even though I pulled down the shade. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Anyway, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles! Yay! I wanted to start earlier, but I was trying to do some sound checks because things have been a little bit scuffed. Petition to remove the sun. I know, right? I hate summer. The worst. But yeah, I was trying to do some sound checks before we started stream because I made some adjustments to like the mic settings itself, which meant that I in turn needed to make some adjustments on OBS, and like that part has been a pain in the butt, so that's an ongoing endeavor. I'm sorry if it sounds a little weird. We're working on it. We'll get it happening. All right, first thing is first. We're gonna go watch those episodes we talked about. The little escapades, right? I think that's what we're looking at. Was this it? Was it the escapades? Or was it something else? Escapades, cool. Alright, here's what we're gonna watch. We're just gonna watch these all real quick before we dive on in and start game 2. So it's like our little appetizer. Anyway, yeah, hope y'all are doing well, chat. Happy Saturday. Let's go ahead and watch this. Yep, we're gonna play episode 1 in the defendant's antechamber. Include spoilers about the first game. It's fine. We've already beat the game. We're good. 22nd of November, 3:08 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendant's antechamber. 5. Oh my god. I was not ready for the old man. Hold on.
Just look at my priceless treasure now! Myself I have scrubbed and scrubbed, but the repellent odor of meat will never again be repelled from its resplendent surface again.
But you have it back in your possession, at least. You should be grateful, old man.
How dare you!
Excuse me, but, I'd just like to get at that Zabuton cushion there if I could. Maybe.
Rest assured, you miserable military malefactor, this is not over. Incarceration awaits those who would defraud a senior citizen for his priceless treasures.
Watch your tongue, old man. Mark my words, I won't. Sorry, Sergeant, but could I just get at that Zabuton cushion there as well? Oh. I won't go to jail! Never! Imagine if I did! Very next day, my boy would starve without the chain of command in place to provide for him. What is happening?
Using the child to protect yourself? Myself, I call that absolute cowardice.
Oh, really? And who just employed the old poor defenseless senior citizen tactic, huh? The only way to fight an enemy who's using underhand tactics is with a tit-for-tat strategy. Sorry to interrupt again, but I just need to get at that Western style cushion there on the sofa. Enough of this insubordination! What do you want, man? Oh, please don't mind me.
Aha! Do my eyes deceive me, or is this the wide-eyed criminal from the trial before?
Wide-eyed, perhaps, but criminal? No. Ryunosuke, please.
What is this unhealthy fascination you exhibit with the seating arrangements of others, Why, were you peering under the cushion of this upholstered seat?
Oh, well, the thing is... Any luck? Did you find it? Hey, it's a boy. We're not dead friend yet. No, sadly not. I don't think it's here, Kazuma. You really are a liability, Ryunosuke. Report! At once! Have you lost something? Is that it? Yes, we were just on our way to a party to celebrate my friend's victory here when... I realized that my university pin badge was missing.
A university pin badge, you say?
Yes, from my collar here, you see? Affirmative. Uniforms must be kept in prime condition at all times. A missing badge is unacceptable. I thought if I looked around, it would probably, you know, turn up somewhere. Like the old tale of the Koban coin and the steak?
A parable of which I am acutely aware.
But I've exhausted my search now, really. The only logical conclusion is that someone must have stolen it. Don't look at me! I don't just find any old metal objects irresistible, you know? Okay, not you, but your child there. Kids like to pick up shiny things. Imagine what would happen if little Trooper Ido here swallowed something like that. Did he? I'm afraid we'll have to give it up. I'm afraid we'll have to give up, Ryunosuke. Still, if you tell the office your student number, they should be able to issue you a new one. What's the matter? Don't tell me. Yes, I don't remember my student number. I don't believe it. I mean, this is the second time you've lost your badge, isn't it? Third, actually. Ryunosuke, please. Come on. If you didn't think you could remember it, you should have made a note of it somewhere. I told you that until I was blue in the face the last time this happened. Yes, I do seem to remember someone telling me something along those lines. It was you, wasn't it? Or it was you, was it? Can't even remember who told you that you needed to remember it. Well, the student numbers are 6 digits, Kazuma. Who could remember 6 whole digits? Yume isn't exactly a long-established university, you know. All of our numbers are still rather low. In fact, they only use the last 3 digits. Ah, shit. Ryunosuke, you've been called out. He knows. Oh, well, that might help, I suppose. That might help? Ryunosuke, it's only 3 digits you needed to remember. Just 3. Sorry, my brain is such a disappointment. Oh, sorry, wait, hold on. Let me read that. Sorry, my brain is such a disappointment.
Yes, well, anyway, young man. Myself, I was greatly impressed with you in the courtroom today.
Oh, you mean me?
A lawyer already before you've even graduated. And such a loyal friend to this one.
This one?
What the hell's that supposed to mean?
Oh no, I still have much to learn. In fact, that was brought home to me in no uncertain terms only last year. My Achilles heel was spectacularly exposed by my best friend here.
Indeed.
What? By me? Hell, I do. It's the first I've heard about it. Yes, by Ryunosuke and Naruhodo. Can't have forgotten, surely. It was last summer, at the speech contest. Speech contest? Oh, that! Contestants had to take the stage and deliver a public address on any subject they chose. We were competing to give the most compelling and powerful speech. Yours was great. It made a huge impression on the audience. Obviously, since I was a budding student of law, I was determined to win. Sure enough, one by one, my opposition fell. When I reached the final at last, came up against you. Yes, so you did. Not being rude, but when I first laid eyes on you, I thought to myself, this cheeky, wide-eyed no-hoper is out of his depth. He's gonna be a pushover. Wow. That's your version of not being rude, is it? Them's are harsh words for you. Well, I paid for my complacency, because it brought on that humiliating defeat. Defeat? How are your ranks compromised? My speech was going very well. I had the audience in the palm of my hand. I hung on my every word. And then, when I came to the very last line...
Yes? What happened at the very last line?
Supposed to be a climactic end. Fortunately, I completely fouled it up.
Never!
You mean, you stumbled on your words? Spectacularly. But now, I can't believe I ruined it. Well, what on earth did you say, man? Ryunosuke, better say it. Still can't get my tongue around it. Sure, of course. I can still recall it perfectly. What you said at the end of your speech, or rather, what you intended to say at the end of your speech, was this. So arise, ladies and gentlemen, and applaud our forefathers' plight and the fight for filial piety. Words. Fine. And what went wrong?
What indeed? Myself, I see no problem with the pronunciation of these paltry words.
Say that, but I just... It's funny. In that case, old man, I invite you to say it yourself.
Very well, then I shall. So arise, ladies and gentlemen, and applaud our forefathers' plight and flight. And the fight for... Lyle Pile? It's impossible!
The arise, ladies and gentlemen part I delivered perfectly. But the next part had me floundering for a whole 5 minutes. At the end of it, I was on my knees in front of the podium, blabbering mess. And that's when the audience started to heckle you. Arise! Arise, arise, they were shouting.
Hell on earth.
But then, of course, this man went and delivered his word-perfect speech with a perfect ending. How did it go again? Let me see. So, my dear fellows, the message is simple. Treat your father and mother with respect. Something like that? I mean, talk about stating the obvious. The fact is, I lost to that speech.
Tongue-tied is the only way to describe it.
Well, it is quite tricky to say, I agree. That final fight for filial and tricking me here. That final fight for filial... Oh my god. It really does trip you up. Okay, especially. And ever since that day, I've had this question whirling around in my head. Why did our forefathers choose such an awkward phrase? Was it to mock their children? I mean, it should never... God damn it. It should never have been called filial piety in the first place. Paste. First... Hold on. The first pace... Ugh. At least you're going to Great Britain soon. It might not come up much there. Well, anyway, having lost that accursed contest, I came after you to ask you a question. How is it that you never trip up on your words? I inquired. You just gave me a broad smile and said, speaking fast is my hobby. I mean, really? What kind of hobby is that? You think you could take your hand off your sword? Besides, it's just a way to pass the time. After that, you started talking to me at 10 to the dozen, like you were possessed almost. Honestly, you can't imagine the shock I suffered that day. You really can't. You're right, I really can't. Speaking fast is just the sort of hobby I'd expect a civilian like you to waste his time on. Look, some of us just kind of do, okay? Well, you have to practice, of course, but there are some simple things to start with. Like this famous one, for example. Swift samurai sword swipes silently sideways.
Ah, yes, even a decrepit tongue in an ailing frame such as mine can find its way around that one.
No doubt, it's just a bit of fun, really. I can't imagine anybody would struggle to say it. Isn't that right, Cosma? Swift samurai Ugh! A blabbering mess by word 2. Got it. I see. It's not just the samurai. Every good soldier needs to be able to handle a sword. That's why I've been busy teaching Ido the finer points of swordplay. None of this wordplay nonsense, Private. Come to think of it, not long after that, we started to attend lectures together, didn't we? And we got into that debate about family values at the Sukiyaki place on campus. You remember? Yes, your argument was full of jokes and puns and wordplay as usual. I remember it well. Oh, was it? In any case, I swore that I would never let myself forget the shock you gave me back then. And as a symbol of how seriously I took that oath, I decided to wear this, my red Hachimaki headband. So that's why you wear that? Sorry, Cosma. Yes? You lost me there, I'm afraid. I don't see the link. What does your red headband have to do with your oath? Because it will always remind me that that smug look on your face as you uttered those tantalizing words. What words? Need another tongue twister? I practiced and practiced until my tongue bled. But in the end, I mastered it. Mastered what? Well, I think it's time you heard this, actually. Listen carefully now. Here goes. Red headband, lead headband, dead headband. There. Word perfect, see? actually been meaning to ask you about that. About the story behind your headband, I mean. Well, now you know, so that I'll never forget the shock and humiliation of that day. That's why I wear this red headband every single day, without fail. Okay. Well, I don't know exactly how much of a shock you think you had back then, but it can't be more than the shock you've just given me now. What do you mean? Well, I'm sorry to have to tell you, but the tongue twister I said didn't go the way you seem to have remembered it. Huh? It's just as famous as Swift Samurai Sword, so I can't believe you don't know it, really. It goes, red bed pan, lead bread pan, dead bread man. He got the tongue twister wrong. Oh, that's sad. He based his life on a tongue... He based his daily ritual, his daily habit, on a tongue twister, but he got it wrong. What are you gonna do now? Your life is based on a lie. Wait, what? Red It seems I've knocked some wind out of that headband of yours. It's not too late, Private. You can always start wearing a red bread pan on your head instead. Your youthful vigor is manifest, young man. Your cheeks are glowing redder than your hachimaki. Ah! Why do so many words have to be so similar? Can't help you there, dude. So, looking forward to Great Britain then, where you'll have to deliver speeches in court in English. I suppose. I can always shell seashells on the seashore. Bro. He tried. So today we learned that Cosma is not good at tongue twisters. Alright. So that was in the first of 8 episodes. Ryunosuke finds 2 troublemaking witnesses from his earlier trial having a battle of words in the defendant's antechamber, leading to a real tongue lashing. In the second escapade, it transpires that another crime was committed aboard the SS Boria. The stakes are high as Sholmes and Strogonev pursue the culprit, but there's more to the crime than meets the eye. of January, 6:23 p.m. SS Bodia, first class, cabin number 1. It's almost 2 weeks now since we've left Japan. Can't believe how quickly time has gone. So, our next port of call will be Shanghai. Who's there? Could it be at this hour? A detective. A detective? Who? A great detective. I don't get it. What's a great detective? If you would just be so kind as to open the door? Oh, yes, sorry, of course. Hold up, I want to do a little adjustment here. One second. I had to pump up the game volume a little bit and make sure it's audible. Okay, we're good. Something wrong, detective? Are you investigating a case? Wherever a great detective goes, great cases occur. Indeed, I am the root of all evil. I mean, I guess that's one way to look at it. It says, sorry? Then I don't think I want you in my cabin. Under our very noses on this steamship, terrible theft has just occurred. What? You noticed, I presume, the brief power failure a short while ago? Oh, yes. The power couldn't have been out for more than 10 minutes, though. Indeed. Yet that was ample time for this wicked crime to be perpetrated. I see. Well, clearly it's a case that needs investigating. Precisely. The culprit ran away in this direction, down the first-class cabin passageway here. Really? Thief came this way? Quite sure of it. May have escaped the attention of the dim-witted crew, but not of the great detective. To that end, I would be obliged if you would allow me to investigate here in this cabin. Well... I'm curious, is there some reason why it would inconvenience to have your cabin searched? Inconvenience me? Well, I'd be lying if I said no. After all, it's a stowaway in that wardrobe right over there. It's just me in here, see? No one else. So you might perhaps want to focus your attention on one of the other first-class cabins. As it happens, you are the only first-class passenger at present. The other cabins are vacant. Oh! Uh-oh. Ryunosuke, shush! Gonna get us caught. Isn't that rather tragic rumbling of the stomach arise from within you, my good fellow? Of course. As I said, I'm the only person in here. It's not long until dinner time now, so perhaps we could do this afterwards? I do apologize, sir, but it is of the first importance that the investigation not be delayed. Now, if you'll excuse me... Wait, where did he go? How did he suddenly move all the way there? Yes, without a doubt, if the culprit were to be hiding in this cabin, it would have to be inside this wardrobe. Ah, shit. I shall need to examine this wardrobe thoroughly. I presume you have no objection? Sorry, but I'm going to have to decline. Really, you won't find any... God damn it, Ryunosuke! Sneezed. And those two rather tragic sneezes arise from your good self? Of course they did. As I said, I'm the only person in here. You have a curious knack of talking while sneezing, then? Twice, no less. This is going to be a tough one to argue. I was watching you quite intently, sir, and I assure you I saw no signs of a sneeze. Couldn't Ryunosuke have held his nose? As I was saying, I shall need to examine this wardrobe. Had it now, then. Game's up. Nobody hiding in there, it seems. What? You seem surprised. No, not at all. Yes, I am. He was in there for sure. I shut the doors on him myself. More visitors? Who's this now? Excuse me. Oh, Seaman Stroganoff? Sorry for disturbing, but crime has been committed on board ship. Yes, I heard. Terrible theft, apparently. How do you know this? Oh, Sholmes told me. Ah, well, the detective here just informed me, see? Detective? Yes, I assumed you must have asked him to investigate. Detective, could you... Oh, fuck, where'd he go? Where did he go? I must ask you to cooperate with investigation into crime, fully. Uh-oh. It's glaring at the wardrobe already. Ah! Well done! You found me! What are you doing hiding in my wardrobe? My good man, I was merely assessing the practicality of concealment in such a place. And I would say that at a push, a human could survive for up to 5 minutes in that cramped space. Ryunosuke's been in there for a fortnight. Is he not human? Who are you? Shh. This is the moment of truth. The great detective is about to unveil the sordid details of this wretched crime. You mean to say? Yes, there can be no doubt that the culprit of this terrible theft did indeed conceal himself within this wardrobe. What? But that's impossible. Couldn't have done. Because my best friend was in there this entire time. Or at least I thought he was. How can you be sure of this? Elementary, my dear fellow. The criminal left behind the most revealing evidence. How else could you explain these 3 bones? Ah! What the? He's right. Those gnawed bones in there. 3 of them. Ah! The criminal has escaped this time, but I will find him and crush him. Could I ask you something, detective? Why, yes, of course. I am always delighted to answer an inquiring mind. In this terrible theft, what exactly was stolen? Aha! What else but some steaks on the rib bone? Huh? Did you say steaks on the rib bone? For this evening's dinner, 3 rib steaks were stolen from Ship's kitchen only a short time ago. There was a small function with generator and Ship was without light for 10 minutes. Chef, who's our criminal, said that he ran away down first-class passageway. And now, I am on his tail. I'm afraid to say, dear fellow, that your man is no longer in this cabin. What? How? Through the cabin door, no less. Having devoured his haul in this wardrobe, the culprit discarded the bones and concealed himself behind the cabin door as you came inside. Then, when attention was turned to the wardrobe, he seized his chance to escape through the open door. What? Make haste, my good man. After the culprit, I shall follow presently. Something troubles you, sir? I think maybe criminal is not running away at all. What are you suggesting? Now I know where the dog is buried, Mr. Asogi. Me? Ah, when I think that you are culprit, everything is falling in places. The criminal that disappeared in first-class passageway, the bones in the wardrobe, all clues are pointing their fingers at you. Don't be ridiculous. I would never. Yes, of course. I established at once that you couldn't be the perpetrator of this crime. You did? Why? How are you so sure? My dear fellow, there are but 2 things in this world on which one can rely with total certainty. What 2 things? The first is the word of a great detective, and the second... The second is the tragic rumbling of an empty belly. Ah, not again. When I first entered this cabin, there did arise from this gentleman a belly rumbling so odiously tragic that it confirmed beyond all doubt that the man had not eaten a single rib steak in some time, let alone 3. Why do I have to suffer this humiliation when I've done nothing wrong? Curses! I will catch this thief! He cannot have gone far! Indeed. Assuming you decided against a post-meal constitutional swim. Poor Cosmo, yeah. Well, if you'll excuse me now, my apologies for upsetting your evening. Detective, one moment, please. Yes? That was a most remarkable deduction. Perhaps you'd be kind enough to tell me your name? Ah, it quite slipped my mind. You have been talking with the one and only Sherlock Sholmes. I see. Well, I'm Kazuma Asogi, student on my way to Great Britain. Pleased to meet your acquaintance, Mr. Asogi. Oh, and before I forget... Yes? I feel I should warn you. Live cargo is strictly forbidden on this vessel. So you would do well to conceal the stowaway currently lying low under your bed as carefully as possible. Oh, under the bed? I had a feeling he must have moved. I bid you farewell then, Mr. Asogi. He knew! He knew we had a stowaway. He's uncovered our secret. Suppose I should have expected nothing less. A great detective. Now then. When did you move in under the bed? I thought we'd had it when you opened the wardrobe door. Well, it was thanks to that split-second chance you engineered. That I what? You distracted him for a moment, remember? When you suggested that he investigated the other cabins instead? Oh, yes. He turned to look towards the corridor, didn't he? Well, I couldn't see what he was doing, of course, but I thought to myself, it's now or never, and the next thing I knew, I was under the bed. You really know how to give me a scare, don't you? Anyway, what's all this about the rib steaks, eh? Sorry about that. I've just been so hungry. Ever since we left for Japan, stuck in that tiny wardrobe. Well, you should know, you've been splitting all your meals with me. You must be starving too, surely? Right on cue. There was that power cut before, wasn't there? For about 10 minutes. So it was then. I caught a whiff of the most delicious smell. And then I thought to myself, it's now or never, and the next thing I knew, I had the steak in my hands. This man just can't help getting himself into trouble. Yo, that is an understatement. Well, alright, you were hungry, but 3 steaks? Thanks to you, 3 crewmen are going to go without tonight, I imagine. No, it was just the one. What? I only took 1 rib steak from the kitchen, that's all. But, I don't understand. Hey, not that selfish. If I'd stolen 3 steaks, I'd at least have tossed 1 your way. Not your pet dog. Well, in that case, who stole the other 2? Ah! You think... Could there be a ghost on board? Or more stowaways? Meat-loving ghost? There could only have been a single bone in the wardrobe when Ryunosuke moved to hide under the bed. Oh, it was Sholmes. Sholmes definitely took the other 2, didn't he? Sholmes was like, I too would like more food. Which means that the other 2 bones can only have been put there by one very flesh and blood person. God damn it, Sholmes. What's so funny? We're here on a haunted ghost ship. A great detective or a great mischief maker. Both. You can be both. Why not both? Either way, I think I'd like to spend a little more time getting to know that man. The great Herlock Sholmes. Airlock Sholmes. So sad. He'll never get the chance. Aww. Alright, at the British Supreme Court. For Grant's Magazine, look at that. This escapade takes place as Ryunosuke and Susato visit Lord Strongheart to report on the outcome of Mr. Natsume's trial. Find a flustered Inspector Gregson attempting to solve a very taxing problem before his time runs out. That friendship went very far. Yup, definitely. 26th of February, 9:17 a.m., British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Here we are again. Every time we visit here, the atmosphere in this place seems to get more and more overbearing. Just think, we could be at home with Mr. Sholmes and Iris having a nice cozy breakfast. But we have a duty to report the outcome of the case, especially since we're guests here in Britain. So I'm afraid this visit couldn't have been avoided. I suppose not. Is there even anyone here? Look at your pin drop in this place. It's too solemn for its own good. It is very quiet, isn't it? The only sound is the ticking of the great clock as it keeps perfect time. Oh. What? Is that a doggo? What was that, I wonder? The usual comforting sound of the clock seems to have been joined by a less comforting shuffling sound today. You're right. Something's disturbing the rhythmical ticking. Sounds rather like an unfit middle-aged man running from pillar to post, clumsily. Ah, Gregson. What are you calling unfit? Oh, Inspector Gregson, what are you doing here? What am I? Isn't it flaming obvious? 58 seconds remaining, Inspector. We'll have to talk later, sunshine. Good morning, Lord Strongheart. Wow, he's really looking fiercely at his pocket watch today. And good morning to you. Business so early in the day? Oh, yes. Well, I mean, it's about the other day. We are to deliver a report, Lord Strongheart, as our dealings with Mr. Natsume are now over. You love Gregson because he's so silly? I know, right? He's such a funny dude. Ah, yes, the little Japanese man. I've already cast my eyes over the Van Ziek's report. I must say, the outcome surprised me. I thank you for a job well done. You're too kind, my lord. It's not here! It's not there! And it's not over there either! Are you okay, buddy? I hope you don't mind me asking, but what exactly is the inspector doing? He's been herring around between the bookshelves looking beside himself with worry. He's looking for a particular work. Lion's Pride. Now there's an all too familiar title. I'd heard it was a popular tale, so I obtained a copy from the rental library. However, it wasn't able to maintain my interest, so I soon cast it aside. I happened to notice a vacant spot on one of my shelves at the time. so I duly stowed the book there. Unfortunately, I no longer remember where that was. Nope, not there! Not here either! Come on, what are you hiding? Or are you lions hiding? The book is due back today, so I've asked Gregson to locate it for me with his investigative prowess. Side 5 minutes. Do you want some help, buddy?
I say, I've never seen anyone working so hard to find something. It's like a man possessed.
Ah, yes. That's because his month's salary is staked upon the outcome. At whose instigation? Let me guess, this stony-faced lord. This poor man. And the 5-minute time limit, what's the significance of that? There is none. Just my vulgar, mischievous spirit showing itself, I'm afraid.
Oh, by your own admission.
Ah! I can't! My feet! Are killing me! 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up, Inspector. Which means that next month you will work unpaid and have no days off. That can't be legal. I know we're like in the old days, but that's fucked up, man. Ugh. No days off? That's fucked up, man. There really are just so many books here. It's overwhelming. For some, perhaps. I purchased every book, new or old, on the subject of law from all over the globe. Wouldn't have believed that a few short decades ago, a place like this couldn't have existed.
What do you mean, Inspector?
When I was a lad, no one ever dreamed of buying books. Oh, I see. Western books are such luxury items, I suppose, with their leather covers and fancy bindings. Oh, that's not it.
Oh.
There was tax on paper, see? On paper? Yeah, I mean, abolished about 30 years back now, but it used to be the case. There was tax levied on any kind of paper. So obviously, that meant most folk couldn't afford to buy any books at all.
Ah, so that is why places like the rental library you mentioned before came into existence, Lord Strongheart.
Indeed, vestiges of the paper tax system, you could say. The general public considered books as items for hire. London is home to a vast lending library of some 3.5 million books.
You couldn't hope to read all of that even if you were reincarnated 10,000 times.
Even I would choose to rent a book rather than purchase it, if I knew I would read it infrequently. The subject of tax has actually surprised us already in the last few days. It came up in Mr. Natsume's trial. It seems that the window in his room was filled in due to some kind of window tax. That would be true. Fortunately, the window tax was abolished here some 40 years ago. Sadly, in the East End in particular, many windowless houses remain. Britons always had a bit of a thing for tax and stuff. Whatever they can tax, they tax. Sugar, salt, tea, coffee, you name it. Candles, beards. Wait, sorry. What was that last one? Did you say beards? That's fucked up. Yup, a beard tax. Never heard of it? Never! Why should people have to pay money just because they let their facial hair grow? May well ask. Suppose it's because it's make them look self-important. The Naruhodos will have a strict family policy of no facial hair, I think. Wow. You can relax. The beard tax was confined to the annals of history long ago. And so it's clearly something the British really love. Paying taxes, I mean. Paying them? You've got that back to front, sunshine. But you can't deny you've had a lot of funny taxes over the years. You'd never find anything like that in Japan. Would you, Miss Susato?
In actual fact, I'm afraid to say that you would, Mr. Naruhodo.
What? No. You don't mean. Surely there's never been a window tax in Japan.
No, but there have been similarly obscure taxes. For example, the Edo period, there was a frontage tax.
The fuck was that?
It's a tax not on windows, but on the entrance to properties. The larger a property's entrance was, the greater the tax that was levied on it.
Wow.
Even today, some mansions survive with extremely narrow entrances due to that old form of taxation.
I had no idea. So you Japanese are as twisted as us Brits. But we never had a beard tax. I mean, that's really going a step too far.
Well, no, that's not true. I'm not aware of any taxes for beards at the least.
What do you mean at least?
Well, rather than tax them, the shogunate did once prohibit them outright.
The ruling class prohibited beards? Jealousy much?
It was called the Great Beard Prohibition. It was an Edo period edict.
But why did the powers that be want to ban beards? Because it makes people look self-important? Just an idea.
It would seem that rulers in the East and West have had very similar ideas over the years. There have been other unusual taxes in our history, and in our current Meiji period.
There have?
For example, that was before either of us were born. There was a rabbit tax.
A what? There was a tax on those adorable fluffy creatures like the ones who make mochi sweets on the moon?
Yes, and it was an extremely large tax too. The government demanded extraordinary sums of money.
This just gets stranger and stranger. What was the reason for that bizarre tax then?
Well, after Japan opened its doors to the world, there was an unprecedented rabbit boom in the Meiji capital.
A boom?
Yes, keeping rabbits became hugely popular, and new species were traded at exorbitant prices. People were even swindled out of all their money for exotically colored rabbits.
When your Ace Attorney game turns into a history lesson, I know, right? I'm learning so much right now. Like colored chicks, I suppose. Hard to imagine, though. Rabbits are so timid and quiet. Wouldn't have thought one could bankrupt you.
So in response to this worrying social vogue, the government imposed a rabbit tax.
I suppose they couldn't just ignore the problem.
And it worked because the rabbit boom came to an abrupt end. 6 years later, the tax was abolished.
Well, I hate to say it about my own country, but Japan is so strange.
But there's more. After the rabbit tax was abolished then, of course, society reacted by launching straight into a second rabbit boom.
Oh dear. The government didn't think that one through, did they? Your ideas about the world are very much altered by the position you hold in society. You're responsible for the running of the country. You'll feel the need to raise revenue keenly. Without a stable taxation system, the whole country would go down the drain. Well, yeah, I suppose so. But some of these taxes... That's precisely why ministers of state use their wiles to invent new and novel ways of taxing the public. Novel ways? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, if you were one of my country's statesmen... Me? A British statesman? Yes. What novel tax would you impose? Pray, give us something truly original. Side 5 seconds. What? Oh,
Think of something that everyone uses, Mr. Naruhodo, and really squeeze every penny out of the population.
That's quite the intense stare. I'm very glad Sato-san isn't in charge. Your time is up. So, what's your answer? Well... Air, maybe? Yes, how about air? Oh my god, that's messed up! An air tax, you say?
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. A truly novel and fiendish idea.
Well, everyone has to breathe, so while the population is inhaling air, my government is inhaling money. No, 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 no. Not like this. Not like this! Blimey, you're tired at heart, eh? Somewhat radical solution to a country's revenue problems, but sadly not an original one. Oh, you mean you'd say... Thinking like a true capitalist, Ryunosuke.
Surely not. I mean, a tax on air has been imposed in the past?
It was last century. The finance minister of our neighbor France proposed it. What? If I ever go for a visit, I'm holding my breath. Unsurprisingly, it was strongly opposed by the public and soon scrapped. The minister didn't last long either.
Oh dear, although clearly they would have been in an untenable situation.
Public at large are a force to be reckoned with. Don't I know it?
How about you, Inspector? What new tax would you impose?
Let me see. My first thought is a tax on objections. Oh, there we go. Sorry? Been hearing far too many of them recently in court. The particular lawyer I have in mind as it happens. Hey! That's why I think an objection tax could be very handy. Good to see you don't allow your personal feuds to influence your work in public office. I reckon 5 pence for every objection raised would be about right. Most amusing proposal, Gregson. A most unamusing proposal, my lord. Well then, I think it's your turn now. Sorry? My turn for what? Why, what else? To locate my missing copy of the Lion's Pride. Oh! Why? It's on one of these shelves in this room. That I'm certain. Now, I shall give you 10 minutes. And let's stake your student's stipend on it. Fail to find the book and you forfeit next month's payment. Ah, shit. Oh, objection! Your time starts now. Oh, and one more thing. I believe you just said the word objection. Kindly leave your 5 pence over there before you begin combing the shells. Hey! That tax has not been officially passed. You can't do this to me. This tax is gonna be the death of me. What a messed up situation that was. Rude. Oh my god, it's already been an hour and we only got through 3? I thought these were short. Holy shit. Okay, we do need to take an ad break though, or the ads are gonna start in the middle of one. So we will be right back. Yeah, we're gonna take a really quick break. We're back.
Wait,
No way.
wait.
No way. What?
Alright, go ahead and get blasted. Leave while we're in the center.
What are we doing?
How do I leave group?
Why is this happening?
Oh,
Please grab the
Double-
wash,
it's just-
please.
This is a bannable offense. To my ears.
a cat.
Alright, we're burning down Brawler. Dude, well, not burning, we're taking again. Okay, warp time.
High and low.
Okay.
Typical. Most of the time these trees won't stop rustling. As soon as I need their opinion, then silence is golden. Thanks for the spirit wood. I think you've got some issues that we need to maybe talk about. Ooh, money though. Cheerio, Scout! Hope you're settling into your solo camping adventure. Don't be disheartened if you can't find a needy ghost immediately. I intentionally picked a safe island that's not too haunted. When you finally find a ghost, try to help it make peace with itself, and when you do it, you'll finally graduate to 2nd degree. Signed, Scoutmaster Blake. Yes, I'll write to you every day, unless I get busy. 1 common log cabin, large potted plant. Okay. Sir? Scoutmaster Blake. Hi. Hi. Hello. Parfait here. You certainly did not send me to a relatively unhaunted island where I might take me a little bit to find a ghost friend. You, in fact, sent me to a very haunted island of bears. Sir? One that curses people and traps them here. So thanks for that. And now I'm back from outer space. I don't want to be DMCA'd though, so I should probably shut my face. Let's continue. Help here. I need a savior to rescue me from this crisis. Great, thanks, I hate it. What the? What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes? Why are you wearing the tiara? Huh? Could have been lying through my teeth this whole time. I mean, you could have. But listen. Have you tried the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV that comes with a free trial all the way through the award-winning expansion, Heavensward? Have you? I think that would keep you busy.
You should come down and see it.
I can't see!
Oh no!
it just completely phased me out.
Fucked up. So fucked up.
I don't need this heartwarming moment. I need to fix this damn bike.
I need to fix this damn bike.
As a result, I brought this knife so I could shank this bitch next to me if he doesn't fucking give me back my coin. I know he took it. There was no one else there. Bro, what? Bro, what? Excuse me? Anyway, the fact remains, myself,
You look pink.
I'm back. Whoa, wrong one. There we go. Figuring this out. 8 ads? Holy shit, I'm sorry. That's a lot. I don't know if you're back yet. That's a lot. I'm sorry. Are all the ad watchers back? I can't tell. All back? Okay, cool. Alright, so here's the plan, because these are taking a lot longer than anticipated. We're gonna hold off on doing the rest of these until later, because I do want to make sure we start the next game. Otherwise we're gonna be in trouble for making sure we actually finish the next game on, or the, the first episode on time. Because I do need to finish before the next week. Oh, hold on. Hold up.
The Empire of Japan. After opening
Nope,
its
that's... Hold on. I think I may have been on the wrong thing. Back to the title screen. We'll figure this out. Give me a second. I hit the wrong thing. I should have double checked what I was looking at. Alright, back to the title. Don't save. We're not saving. Yeah, don't. Okay, we need to select adventure. There we go. There we go. I figured it out. We just needed to move over one more. Alright. Great Ace Attorney 2! Resolve! This is the one we're starting a new game on. We'll go back and we'll do the other escapades later. Are we? Oh, it's Sato! She's back in Japan. Okay. I recognize the sound of cicadas.
Standing here in the bright sunshine, looking out over the vast ocean. Those days in London seem like a dream. But I do miss my time in England's vast capital. You know, he's flourished into a truly wonderful lawyer. I've no doubt that at this very moment, he's fighting some noble cause in court.
She has so much faith in us. It's so nice. Best Ace Attorney game? Looking forward to it.
For taking so long to come to visit you. My life has been such a whirlwind since I returned. And no one could have predicted what has happened. Just 2 months after arriving home.
Find myself face another awful crime? What? What is she up to again? Oh my god.
So I came here today to ask something of you. Tomorrow, I shall be standing in court. For the only time in my life. As a lawyer.
Sato's gonna be a lawyer? Oh my god! The assistant? What?
And
She's
please,
dead?
I ask for your guidance. Kazuma-sama.
Well, I didn't see that coming. I thought that she was up to no good again, but she's dead. She's the victim. The Adventure of the Blossoming Attorney. That threw me for a loop. 13th of August, 8:26 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendant's Antechamber 3.
Here I am again after 9 months. The Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. I feel so nervous, but I must steel my nerves and find a way to compose myself.
Oh, it's her dad! Yay! I'm so glad you're fine. Ah, you're good. You're here. It doesn't do for a lawyer to be late.
Oh, yes, good morning, sir.
Hardly recognize you. Get a fine figure, counsel. You look as white as a sheet, and those wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either.
Oh, dear. Truth is, so incredibly nervous I feel utterly nauseated. I almost wish that I'd never been born.
Wow, that's pretty severe. Goodness, not the sort of thing a father hopes to hear from his daughter, I must say.
Eugene Mikotoba, professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. A man who, early in his life, traveled to Great Britain to study the latest advances in forensic medical science. Of course, my brilliant father.
Excuse me. Oh.
I be correct in thinking you're to be my lawyer in court today? Yes. Yes, that's right, miss. Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to represent me. I swear on my life. It's a complete fabrication. This whole thing. Ray Membami.
Whoa, that's a unusual name.
We're in the same year as I and my greatest friend.
unusual for a woman in our time. She works at the university research laboratory, helping my father. Sadly, she's the defendant in today's trial, accused of committing a truly awful murder. You feeling alright? Since we started talking, you seem, well, become a little flushed. Oh, it's just that you look so gallant and dashing. Sorry? And when I fall under your intense gaze, it makes me rather bashful. I sense a crush. Goodness, I don't think she knows. She hasn't realized who I am. It would seem our little plan for this trial is going to work. Very adorable lesbians, I know, I'm here for it. Oh, what do you mean, Professor Mikotoba? Even your best friend can't see through the disguise. I think we can relax. Disguise? Yes, I've never tried dressing this way before, of course, so I wasn't sure how convincing it would be. But this does make me feel a little relieved, as you say, Father. Father? What? Is that you, Susato? I'm so sorry I didn't say something sooner, Ray. It's just that... No! What are you doing? What's going on? Whoa, what? That varsity uniform, that varsity cap, that varsity cape, that varsity badge? Look at you! You look for all the world just like a student of the Imperial Yume University. A male student! Oh shit. She's cross-playing. Cross-dressing, sorry. So glad you think so. It means all my preparations have been worthwhile. Woke at 4 in the morning to make a start. But I don't understand. Why you dress like that? Well, you see. It was the only way. The only way she would be permitted into the Supreme Court to take on your defense in this trial. My defense? Never before in my life have I felt so frustrated at having been born into this body. Courts in Japan are barred to women. We're not even allowed to set foot inside the courtroom. Despite the fact that the laws of the land apply to all people, male and female alike. But women are forbidden. Just for today, I'll be leaving my true self at the courtroom door, so that I can act as your lawyer. Oh, Susato! You'd go to such lengths for me? Of course, you're my greatest friend. I just worry that I shan't be the lawyer you deserve. Oh no, I have complete faith in you. Ray. It's so strange, though. I mean, you're such an accomplished judicial assistant already. And yet, just because you're a woman? What a wretched reason! I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed in court? So gallant and dashing? Ray. Please don't look at me like that. Those flushed cheeks and doting eyes. I ship it. No, I'm sorry. It's just, you really do look dashing. Yes, you mentioned that once or twice. I need to see what she looks like. You should be pleased. It means you look convincing as a man. I am pleased, I think. It certainly helped to bolster my confidence today. Ray, you're managing to put on a brave face in all this, but I can see through it. I've noticed how your shoulders are slumped, how you're trembling ever so slightly. Susato, you do believe me, don't you? I didn't do it! I couldn't have! I mean, murder? Of course. I
have nothing to worry about. Your conscience is perfectly clean. Isn't that right? Yes. Yes, it is. Perfectly clean. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind about your innocence. Which is why I'll stand by you until the bitter end in this trial. Whatever happens, I'll always be on your side. Because that's what it means to be a defense lawyer. That means so much to me, Susato.
Defendant, counsel, court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. You should go in at once, Ray. You're late. The judge won't hesitate to pronounce you guilty.
Oh. Stand aside! I don't think I've ever seen her run so fast.
Well, Susato, you certainly surprised your father. Going to such lengths to be admitted into the courtroom, and with no prior experience of being a lawyer?
There was simply no other way. That's all there is to it. Father! Haven't told her, have you? I mean, I'm right in assuming Ray doesn't know how it came to this?
Yes, quite right. I've kept that information from her. It would only worry her if she found out that no other lawyer would agree to take her case. Didn't want to burden her with that.
And is it true? Reason why every other lawyer is refusing to take the case? Is it really because of who the victim was?
Should be making a move now, too. As you know, law isn't my field, but I'll do whatever I can to support my student.
Thank you, Father. I'm Susato Mikotoba, judicial assistant. 8 months ago, I accompanied a student of law on a study trip to Great Britain. 2 months ago, due to unforeseen circumstances, I found myself back in Japan. How many times have I wished that he were here, I wonder. Still, I have no choice now but to steel myself for the trial ahead. Wish me luck, Naruhodo-san.
All right. 13th of August, 9 o'clock a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 1. This court is now in session to hear the trial of Ray Membami. God, it's ouchy again.
The prosecution is fully ready to proceed, Your Excellency!
I did get to see her. Still looks like her. Defense counsel, are you ready? Yes, Your Excellency, we are ready.
Ready.
She's got the same wide-eyed panic as Ryunosuke. Ah, yes, counsel. According to your registration details, your name is, Ryutaro Naruhodo. Is that correct? She took his name! That's cute!
Sorry?
Oh yes, I had to come up with a suitable male name for you for this little venture. So I'm afraid to say I simply put down the first name that sprung to mind. Well, counsel?
Yes, that's right, that's me. I'm he. Yes, I'm Ryutaro. He who has vowed to uphold the pride of the great Naruhodo clan.
Ah! Seems Ryutaro may need to consider how better to uphold his manly act first and not overdo it. Those wild, wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Just relax and listen. Look! If Ryunosuke had it too, we'll just pretend that it's a family thing. Even though it's technically not, but don't worry about it. It's all about appearances, right? Just relax and listen.
Naruhodo? case in this courtroom, if I'm not mistaken. But the name, Naruhodo, would that perchance be?
Maybe thinking of Ryunosuke Naruhodo, currently in Britain as a part of a study program. This is,
His cousin.
That's right. Ryutaro here has been studying in the provinces, but was called to the capital for this trial. I assure you, in matters of law, his knowledge rivals that of any Tokyo preeminent lawyers.
Any of them. What a pitiful situation. Having been rejected by every lawyer in the capital, the accused is to call in a country boy. How dare you? Sasato's every bit as gallant and dashing as any of your Tokyo attorneys.
That's Susato. Come on! Get on the train! Get on the... I need you to get on board with us, Ray. I need you to... Don't blow my cover. Come on.
I won't have you making fun of her. Her? Please be careful, Ray. What an unrefined tomboy we have here. But I wonder, is your gallant and dashing lawyer up to the challenge of defending you? His wide, skittish eyes very much suggest that he is not. So nervous. Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand what Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, eyes are wont to flit.
They're the same. They're cut from the same cloth. That's cute. The case to be heard on this day is a matter of great significance to our national interest. In fact, it would be reasonable to assume that the outcome of this trial may well affect the very future of our empire.
Just like that trial 9 months ago. And yet for proceedings of such importance, we have this unknown yokel by the dock? Dear me.
Perhaps this would be an appropriate moment for me to assess the defense. To determine whether you are sufficiently competent to practice in this courtroom. 9 months ago, when a certain other Naruhodo stood where you are standing right now. Same judge tested him as well. Even though he was just a student at the time, not even of law, he passed the test with flying colors. For a trained and experienced judicial assistant like you, this will be easy. So, counsel, do you consent to answering some simple questions?
All right, it's time to prove myself.
She does the slap thing too. Oh, that's so cute.
Yes, Your Excellency, but please do make them simple.
Very well, to start with, we will state the name of the victim.
Phew, that's simple. I can forget that if I tried.
What's the matter?
Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand something else Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, minds want to go blank.
Not surprising, really. It's your first time in this position, and in that guise. Even a bright spark like you is bound to flicker and falter a little under the circumstances.
Oh dear. This is a dismal failure.
Don't fret, you need only use the knowledge you've gained as a judicial assistant to overcome the problem.
Of course, the court record.
Yes, the answer will be among all the key information about the case in the court record. That's right, just use E to open the court record. I've been waiting for the button to become available so I could do that. Then you need to flip to the People section. Don't take too long over it. His Excellency is watching you closely.
Alright, check the court record with E. That's where the information I need will be.
Post-mortem report time of death is just after 2 p.m. Death is believed to be due to trauma to the victim's lung from a knife blade. Only a single wound was identified. Eugene Mikotoba, 43, a medical school professor at the Imperial Yume University. He's an authority in forensic medicine in charge at the university's laboratory. He also happens to be my father. Ray Mimbami, my best friend who works as an assistant to my father in his laboratory at the Imperial Yume University. She's the defendant in this case. Giselle Brett, the victim of the case who was a former British exchange student. 9 months ago, she was found guilty of the murder of visiting professor Dr. John Wilson. And Taketsuchi Aochi, the lead prosecutor of this case who appears to be struggling to accept the changes afoot as a result of the turbulent new times in Japan, the Meiji era. Tongue-tied a little bit. I'm waiting, counsel. What is the name of the victim in this case? Of the victim. Giselle Brett.
Yes!
She has the same habits as him. The name of the victim who lost her life in this case is Miss Giselle Brett. Giselle Brett. Name that will never be forgotten in the courtrooms of our country, I'm sure. Correct. And being a member of our Empire's judiciary, you will be aware of the significance of that name. So, let me pose another simple question. As you know, Miss Brett was a visiting student from the Empire of Great Britain. Why then is her name indelibly associated with our own Empire's judicial history? Obviously, you won't have forgotten the case from 9 months ago, but it's proving hard to recall the finer points. And you need is included in the court record. Obviously, I still remember. That was the start of everything. Giselle Brett. Behind the woman's student persona was the face of killer.
Yes!
9 months ago, visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University was killed. And the culprit was Giselle Brett. Yes, she was a killer. Time, our country had just signed a new treaty with the Empire of Great Britain. It was in the midst of this delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. An Englishman, Dr. John H. Wilson, was shot dead. I believe he was an associate of yours, Professor. I believe he was an associate of yours, Professor Mikotoba. I didn't realize I was the judge reading that the whole time. Yes, I was indebted to the man. He'd been my mentor when I went to London to study forensic medicine. Indeed, it was I who invited him here to Japan as a visiting professor at the university. Naturally, the murder of an Englishman on our soil was a matter of the government wished to resolve rapidly. Indeed it was, which is why a secret trial was conducted here at the Supreme Court. A student at the Imperial Yume University was arrested on suspicion of murder. Second-year English language student by the name of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. With the help of his best friend, a student lawyer, the accused conducted his own defense. Exposed the despicable crime committed by Miss Giselle Brett. Brett eventually admitted to her crime. However, when questioned about the motive that drove her to take Dr. Wilson's life, she gave no satisfactory answer before the trial reached its conclusion.
Immediately after the trial, the British government brought its consular jurisdiction into play. We were unable to sentence Miss Brett according to our empire's laws. It was decided that she would be removed to Shanghai, China instead.
Why Shanghai? There's a British consular's court there. Correct. I oversaw the negotiations personally. The date of her transfer to Shanghai was finally settled upon only last week. All that remained of our empire's obligations was to see the woman safely on board a steamship.
And And yet, the very day before her departure, the Englishwoman was killed!
Only the day before. That will do. I'm satisfied the counsel for the defense is sufficiently capable of representing the defendant.
Oh!
Thank you, Your Excellency. Over the first hurdle. Now, a summary of the incident, if you please. Prosecutor Ouchie.
As is your wish, Your Excellency. The repugnant crime took place on the 11th of August in the broad daylight. On the outskirts of the imperial capital, under a bright blue sky, at a secluded bathing spot by the sea. The incident occurred inside a small beach hut erected for bathers to rest or change their clothes. The cause of death was a single stab wound to the posterior abdomen that pierced the victim's lung. Injury which proved fatal. There were two persons alone together in the beach hut at the time of the victim's death. Miss Brett in her bathing attire, and the accused, Ray Mimbami. Accordingly, there can be no doubt of the accused's guilt, especially when we consider she had a powerful motive. Police arrived rapidly at the scene and promptly arrested the young lady.
What the fuck are you saying her motive was? Well, that extraordinary description of events leaves me somewhat lost for words, I must say. Certainly true. Prosecution summary is full of words that raise an awful lot of questions. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about the bathing spot being alone together a powerful motive. What's the motive? We're clearly exaggerating. Powerful motive is a blatant overstatement.
Tut, tut, tut! Is that the yokel boy using long words he doesn't fully understand?
I beg your pardon.
No matter, let us put this to the accused, shall we? Mambami-san, you are a research assistant at the Imperial Yume University, I believe.
Yes, I am. I'm working with Professor Mikotoba in his laboratory at the moment. I can confirm that the defendant is an excellent assistant with a strong sense of responsibility.
Fascinating to hear. Now another question. Prior to your work with Professor Mikotoba, whose research were you assisting then?
I was studying under Dr. John H. Wilson. Dr. Wilson? A visiting English professor who was murdered by Miss Brett 9 months ago?
The accused had a deep-seated respect for her former mentor, Dr. Wilson. Is that not true?
Yes. Sorry, hold on. Yes, Dr. Wilson was a wonderful man.
Interesting. Tell the court what deep-seated feelings you had towards the Englishwoman who killed him.
Well, obviously I was filled with hatred for what she'd done. A powerful hatred. Can't just say that. Oh no, Ray, be careful of what you're saying.
A motive was revenge. Plain and simple, Your Excellency.
Well, it was clearly a trap all along. How wicked of him to use Ray's undying respect for her former mentor against her like that. We must find out more details and something we can use to bolster our defense. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about being alone together.
Mbami-san. Yes, what is it? I mean, Naruhodo-san. I'm really starting to wish we'd made my alias Ryunosuke Sato. Please tell the court why exactly you were present at the bathing spot when with the victim in the first place. And why you were alone with her. Oh, well, no, that's not true. It wasn't like that at all. There were other people present. A detective who was guarding Miss Brett for starters. I was just asked to accompany Miss Brett as a companion, that's all. But let us be clear. At the moment of her death, you were alone together with the victim in the hut. You and no one else. The truth is, there's only one reason why this young woman accompanied Miss Brett on her bathing sojourn. It was the accused's last chance to take the victim's life. No! Because as we know, the following day would see Miss Brett extradited to the British authorities in Shanghai. And the accused would never have an opportunity to dispatch her again. Kindly refrain from conjecture, counsel.
This prosecution counsel seems to enjoy using provocative tricks like that. But for now, at least, we need to assemble more facts. Try not to let him goad you.
Oh dear, this is really terrifying. Father's right. We need more information.
Alright. Let's talk about the bathing spot.
If I may, Prosecutor Ouchie. What do you want, you fresh-faced young yokel student? I wonder, could you explain, please? You mentioned a bathing spot. Ha! My apologies. Clearly my modernity has confused the poor country bumpkin's simple mind. Bathing spots are the very latest trend in health practices from the West. We are told that bathing in the water of the ocean is a curative, therapeutic, and excellent for the skins. No, that's not what I meant. I was referring to the fact that Miss Brett had, to all intents and purposes, been found guilty of murder. Why would a known criminal have been relaxing by the sea? For old time's sake, I believe. Sorry? Miss Brett was to depart for Shanghai the following day. Her final wish, as it were, was to enjoy a day at our country's wonderful coast. And the British Embassy put extreme pressure on our government to comply. But on what grounds would we agree to such a request?
Because, as usual, our government is unable to stand up to foreign powers. Matters of diplomacy, it seems we don't even have the courage to decline the whims of a known criminal.
Don't look at me, Professor. It was the government who granted permission, not I.
Except you're kind of the same. You cave to pressure of authority very easily.
In any case, it was decided that with a dedicated detective on duty, nothing could go wrong.
But in fact, a murder took place.
I said don't look at me. It was that young student girl who did it, not I.
No one has proven that yet. Wouldn't provoke the man if you don't need to. I believe we all have a clear picture of the incident now. Despite her guilt being determined 9 months ago, Miss Brett managed to avoid incarceration, instead continuing her research work at the university. Obviously, over that period, she and Ray would have encountered each other on a number of occasions.
Seeing the murderer, the mentor for whom she had such great respect, enjoying such undeserved liberty.
Yes, even if it was only temporary until Miss Brett's extradition to Shanghai. You can hardly blame Ray for her feelings of anger and resentment.
Poor Ray. So, Your Excellency, if you'd be so kind to peruse this exhibit. A photographic print that shows the scene of the crime immediately following the grim incident.
Why does she still wear the hat everywhere, right? And then she has like a shit ton of masks. This is weird. Yes, thank you, Council. A tragic image.
As you can clearly see, there's nowhere within the hut that anyone could have hidden.
Court will accept this photographic print as evidence. A photographic print of the scene taken by police just after the incident occurred. The stab wound in the victim's back is clearly visible. As I understand it then, the victim and the defendant were alone inside the beach hut at the time. This is deeply troubling, I must say. Finger of guilt points firmly at the defendant.
Well, Your Excellency, naturally the prosecution has much more to its case. We intend to prove the accused's appalling actions beyond all possible contention. To that end, I can confirm that we have multiple witnesses to the crime and damning evidence.
Witnesses? But who?
One of whom, I might add, is a highly respected police detective. I assure you, the testimony of these witnesses will leave no room for doubt.
Very well then, Council. Bring forth your witnesses.
Hi, Taketsu Chiaoji. I've been waiting for this moment.
Sorry?
Oh, yes, I haven't forgotten. That trial 9 months ago, here in this very courthouse. When that irreverent little student boy utterly humiliated me. Ah! Ryunosuke Naruhodo!
Yes?
This insult to the Ouchi family name will never be forgotten!
You become conceited with age, Council. But the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. That's right, he cut off his top knot. That's funny.
Strike the head of a samurai whose top knot has been cut, and the bell of cultural enlightenment tolls. Yes, on that fateful day, my former self died.
Start of your own mini Meiji revolution. Are you modernizing as well, Council?
Silence! Since I swore revenge back then, there's been a minor miracle on top of my head. Observe the ouchie growth. You see? The seed of hope sprouting forth in the barren expanse of my crown?
Okay, sure, why not? I think that tiny growth is trying to tell me something.
I'm afraid I can't really see. Where's the hope exactly? I said silence! Today I face another yokel student of the Naruhodo clan. Well, I will vanquish you! And my victory will be fertilizer for the seed of hope atop my head. You have been warned. With that, the prosecution calls the witness to the stand.
Looks like the stakes are high on both sides in this trial. Prosecution and the defense has much to lose. A haircut is hardly comparable to Ray's life. Man, I'm suddenly very sleepy. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's unexpected. Hello, Saseki.
Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court.
Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Imperial Police Bureau. I'm in disguise, obviously, so I can go undetected. And I am, well, the next big thing in books. An author renowned throughout the capital, in fact. Yes. Soon to be sold out, the satirical I Am a Cat, sensational success by Soseki Natsume. Who's the dude behind you?
Oh my goodness!
Struggling student from the provinces, please! You needn't be in awe of me.
I needn't?
It's only natural that you'd feel nervous in my presence. But all of you, please relax. Call me Soseki, even.
Yes. What on earth is Soseki-san doing here?
That's a good question. Tread carefully, Susato. The author fellow knows you from your time in London, doesn't he? He exposes you for who you really are. This will be over before it's begun.
Yes. Yes, of course. I know. Presume Soseki-san won't have forgotten about me. Could certainly never forget him. Although he does seem to have changed from somewhat in the 6 months or so that it's been since I last saw him. And as for Inspector Hosonaga, an amazing outfit is hard to believe.
Do I have something on my face?
Well, your glasses for one, although they don't seem to be helping you see. Thank goodness he hasn't recognized me either.
Ah, I suppose it's that disguise. Is this disguise, is it? I thought that appearing here in the clothes I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony. My guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Well, I can appreciate why an Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present. But what business does a writer such as yourself have being at the scene, Soseki-san? You read that book and the crowd's going wild? Nice.
Well, you see,
I had been asked that day to give a lecture. On the morning of the incident, the Imperial Yume University's Grand Lecture Hall, no less.
at Yume University?
After the lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with a researcher from the Medical Science Department. The professor over there, in fact.
With Professor Mikutoba?
Yes, that's right. I was arranged by one of the newspapers. He wanted some story or other about 2 former students who'd study in Great Britain. Of course, being a renowned author, the press never leave me alone. They secretly spy, snapshots, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy. As you can see, conversation was written up in this newspaper here. Read it at your leisure, my provincial, struggling student friend. I have plenty of copies. Why do you have so many copies on you at all times?
Thank you very much. Practically threw the paper at me.
Soseki Natsume article. A newspaper containing an article about a discussion between my father and Soseki-san. The debate became quite spirited. Anyway, following my interview with Professor, the lady in question appeared and made a very unexpected announcement. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. Those were her words. As I explained before, Miss Brett was never taken into custody. Continue to work in my laboratory under strict surveillance, of course.
At which utterance, the university immediately contacted the government to seek guidance. And the request was, permit Miss Brett to go as long as a detective accompanies her.
The detective I'm at liberty to divulge was me, Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga.
Thereby, the entire party departed cordially for the seaside, it seems.
extremely challenging to clear all the other members of the public vicinity of the beach. But fortunately, I'm at a peak physical fitness at the moment, so... He's bleeding again. Bro, you need to get that checked. I'm serious, you're gonna die if you don't get someone to take care of you. I was able to carry out my duty flawlessly.
Oh my, Inspector you. Well, you have something on your face now.
Ah, how unsightly. I do apologize.
Does that mean you went to the beach too, Father?
Oh no, fortunately I had work to finish off. But unfortunately, of course, it meant that as my assistant, Ray was invited to take my place. Of course, being a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. Ugh, but if only I had! I'd never have seen that awful sight! Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret! So dramatic, Soseki-san. I missed him, actually. This is nice. Very well, I must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the court. We'll give an account of all that you have witnessed on your impromptu excursion to the coast. Of course, Your Excellency. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret I am. Witness testimony, here we go. The witness scene. And on the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance mission in this disguise. I just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me. I ran into the beach hut at once, where I found the pair in question. Yes! 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 That young girl was astride the Englishwoman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly. Are you sure that's what you saw? I don't believe it. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times. That doesn't line up with the autopsy report at all. No. Indeed, it does appear from this testimony that both the witnesses here present saw it. Hold on, I need to take this out. Oop, sorry, it's bothering me. It just doesn't work with the headphones. There we go. Very moment of this heinous crime.
What? Now, if you will recall, I promised evidence as well. What phrase did I use again? Ah, yes. That was it. Damning evidence.
What have you there, Counsel? So-called fountain pen, is it? Correct, Your Excellency. I found it at the scene while examining the body. It appears that in her dying moments, with her final ounce of strength, victim clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer.
What? Your Excellency, if you would cast your eyes over the photographic print of the crime scene once more.
She is holding a pen. Yes, I do see that. Ah, goodness me! Yes, the victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberately there in her hand. That's right, the fountain pen. And if you would so kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency. Ah! Yoda's initials have been engraved into the ebonite pearl. R.M. Remembami. The initials of the defendant.
No!
This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as critical evidence. The pen that the victim was found grasping in her hand, it carries the initials RM.
So, have I admitted anything? Decisive testimony and damning evidence? There's a bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. Perfect weather to describe guilt, I feel.
I don't understand. The prosecutor ouchie of 9 months ago had none of this man's poise. Counsel for the defense, you may begin your cross-examination now. Naruhodo-san.
Naruhodo. That means... Oh, yes, me!
Is there another Naruhodo in my courtroom?
Actually, there isn't even a single Naruhodo in your courtroom.
Cousin Ryutaro, pull yourself together, please.
Alright, I've seen this countless times as a judicial assistant. Find inconsistencies in the witnesses' testimonies to prove that they're lying somehow. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. So let's see what I can do.
The witness scene. Alright. He was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in disguise.
Hold it!
In that jaunty disguise? Correct. Wait, no. I mean, it wasn't the first time I've worn the swimsuit for a dip in the ocean. It's tried and tested. Do what must be done to keep the English woman under surveillance. Those were my orders that day.
This tried and tested outfit was the answer.
Being able to bend flawlessly into a crowd is an important part of a detective's job. I submerged myself in the salty water, leaving only Mr. Turtle floating inconspicuously on the surface. Mr. Turtle loves the water. Okay, sure, why not?
There was no need for you to blend into the background on this assignment, really, was there?
That made you late on arriving on the scene. I think perhaps you had your priorities wrong. Cost flood.
Perhaps I shouldn't pursue this line of questioning any further at the moment.
He just managed to catch a crab.
Hold it!
Okay, sure.
Ah, you're describing the victim's scream, presumably, Saseki-san?
In more literary terms, you might say it was a scream that could have pierced the heavens. Gah! Or the like. Of course, that's just a metaphor. We renowned authors are wont to describe things so.
Saseki-san wasn't at all like this in England.
Anyway, I spun around at the noise and the beach hut immediately fell under my gaze.
Yes, the beach hut.
The area is popular with government ministers. Many have seaside retreats there for rest and recuperations. Locals are prohibited from entering the area, so it's always very quiet. The beach hut is a simple structure, erected as a place for people to change or take refuge in the sun. Although the Englishwoman commandeered the hut for herself, which meant that I was forced to change to my swimwear on the sand.
Ah, I imagine that was rather embarrassing.
Well, anyway, I tossed the crab aside and headed for the beach hut at a run. Or, in more literary terms, I decrabbed and beetled off hotwise. Alright, we are almost upon an ad. I think we'll take the ad break right before we press this so that we can continue uninterrupted. I'm actually gonna grab a couple things while we're on the ad break, so it might be a little bit longer than normal. But we will be right back. We're gonna take a quick break, let the ads play. I'm gonna go grab an energy drink because something's making me very tired right now. I don't know what it is. And then we'll be right back. Okay? Here we go.
Wait.
No way.
Get you away.
Away.
No way.
What?
Alright, go ahead and get blasted. Leave while we're in the center.
What are we doing?
How do I leave group?
Why is this happening?
Dawn.
Oh,
Dawn.
Please grab the
Double-
watch,
it's
please.
This is a bannable offense. To my ears.
a cat.
Alright, burning down brawler. Dude, well, not burning, we're taking again. Okay, warp time.
High and low.
Okay.
Typical. Most of the time these trees won't stop rustling. As soon as I need their opinion, then silence is golden. Thanks for the spirit wood. I think you've got some issues that we need to maybe talk about. Ooh, money though. Cheerio, Scout! Hope you're settling into your solo camping adventure. Don't be disheartened if you can't find a needy ghost immediately. I intentionally picked a safe island that's not too haunted. When you finally find a ghost, try to help it make peace with itself, and when you do it, you'll finally graduate to 2nd degree. Signed, Scoutmaster Blake. Yes, I'll write to you every day, unless I get busy. 1 common log cabin, large potted plant. Okay. Sir? Scoutmaster Blake. Hi. Hello. Parfait here. You certainly did not send me to a relatively unhaunted island where I might take me a little bit to find a ghost friend. You, in fact, sent me to a very haunted island of bears. Sir? One that curses people and traps them here. So thanks for that. And now I'm back from outer space. I don't want to be DMCA'd though, so I should probably shut my face. Let's continue. Help here. I need a savior to rescue me from this crisis. Great, thanks, I hate it. What the? What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes? Why are you wearing the tiara? Huh? Could have been lying through my teeth this whole time. I mean, you could have. But listen. Have you tried the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV that comes with a free trial all the way through the award-winning expansion, Heavensward? Have you? I think that would keep you busy.
You should come down and see it.
I can't see!
Oh no!
It just completely phased me out!
Fucked up. Oh, fucked up.
I don't need this heartwarming moment, I need to fix this damn bike!
I need to fix this damn pipe.
As a result, I brought this knife so I could shank this bitch next to me if he doesn't fucking give me back my coin. I know he took it. There was no one else there. Bro, what? Bro, what? Excuse me? Anyway, the fact remains, myself,
You look pink.
Alright, chat, I'm back.
Tender.
Alright, there we go. We're back. I got my energy drink. I got up, stretched a little bit. We're all good. We're here. We're ready to go. Let's continue. I want to keep going for at least another hour, I'm thinking. So we can try to get as close to halfway done with this case as we can. Right? Alright. So here we go. We need to continue questioning our first witnesses here. So Hosonaga ran into the beach hut at once where he found the pair in question.
Hold it.
Wait, by pair you don't mean to say... But how could that be? No, you misunderstand. Obviously, I mean the victim and the defendant, Ray and Bami-san. Oh, it would have been helpful if you could have just said that from the outset. Oh, she was thinking he meant somebody else. Okay, I see what happened here. If you jump to conclusions, you have to expect to fall flat on your face sometimes.
Dear me, pinning your hopes on such an outside chance. Foolish. Very foolish.
Really was an outside chance. I just wish I'd realized that before I said something silly.
So, Inspector, why don't you tell the court how exactly you found the aforementioned pair in the hut?
Well, it was a sorry sight. Really grisly scene. I parted the Norrin curtain hanging in the doorway and stepped inside. See, the defendant leaning menacingly over the lifeless body, the victim sprawled on the sand. My glasses very nearly cracked at the ominous sight that met my eyes.
How thoroughly appalling!
He doesn't appear to be lying here. Well, Soseki-san, can you confirm what Inspector Hosonaga said is saying, I wonder? You'd like a literary man's opinion? And he said that she was stabbing wildly, he says.
Hold it!
Stabbed wildly? You actually saw her do it? Oh, indeed. That terrible Spectre! The terrain! Terrapin, Inspector! The bloody torrent! The author's torment! Eek! Every sight and sound is still carved into my melancholy memory. That was my impression, at least, as a future literary sensation.
Counsel, what on earth was that shrill, effeminate scream?
Oh, no, no, what are you insinuating? I'm as manly as a Japanese man as you. Wonder if I might interject here, Soseki-san? Something you said is troubling me. That was my impression. Were your words just now, I believe. So, do you mean to say you're not confident that you really did see what you described? No! I mean, yes! I know what I saw! My ears didn't deceive me when I heard that scream, hence my eyes didn't deceive me either. I could describe everything I saw vividly. I could publish it all in tomorrow's newspaper. Serial! Alright, Soseki. Alright, calm down, buddy.
It seems as though the next installment of I Am a Cat may have a macabre turn.
I think this is a fool's errand. The more we press your author friend on what he saw, the more entrenched he's going to become. Oh dear. How awkward. saw blood on the blade, and that was proof that she'd stabbed him multiple times. Yep, that's a lie. We know it, but that's okay. She was stabbed multiple times. How can you be so sure of that? Very simply, from the blood on the blade. Blood? When I entered the hut, I saw the defendant holding the blade raised up in the air. Yes! Yes! That's right! I saw it too! Oh! Yeah, and I noted there was blood on the blade already at that point. In other words, the victim had already been stabbed at least once by the time I arrived on the scene. Yes! Yes! That's right! I saw it too! And the victim was already holding the defendant's fountain pen in her hand, too. All of which means I can be sure the victim did not die instantly. Death is believed to be due to trauma to the victim's lung from a knife blade. It doesn't say instantaneous or not. Alright. Single stab wound from behind, piercing a lung and resulting in a fatal hemorrhage. Death would have occurred within minutes. Extreme meiosis. Pupil constriction was observed in the victim in both eyes. One of the Wagahai kittens. Aw, that's cute. Wait, what the fuck? Why is it all... Why does it look cracked like that? That's weird. Can I look at this? No. Okay. Yes! Yes! Right! Saw it too! Maybe a year in London was too much for him. Sounds like he's forgotten how to speak Japanese. The logic of your argument is sound, at least. Well, as I said, it is my guiding principle to carry out testimonies flawlessly. Perhaps it should have been your guiding principle to protect the victim flawlessly? That's just my personal opinion, of course. Wow, low blow, Susato. But he deserved it, it's fine. Counsel, you will refrain from mocking the witness. He had it coming! Oh no, I just have so many thoughts swirling around in my head. It's all I can do to stand here, wide-eyed and mute. Goodness, my dear, you really must try to calm down. But how am I supposed to find an inconsistency in what these two gentlemen are saying? I don't see why either of them would have any reason to lie. What you must remember, I think, is that witnesses may inadvertently lie at times. For various reasons. Misunderstanding, a mistaken observation, a delusion even. Ah, a delusion. What's important is that we determine the truth. There's only one sure way to do that. Yes, evidence, of course. Spoken like a true judicial assistant. During witness testimony, you can use E to pick a piece of evidence and present. Okay. So you need to listen carefully to each statement and compare what's said to the details of the court record. Find some conflicting information. That may be the inconsistency you're looking for. Yes, it's all about inconsistencies. Once you've identified a witness's statement that appears to conflict with a piece of evidence, present the evidence to the witness, and the way ahead will present to you itself to you. Sure. Yes. All right then. Consider the details of all the evidence in the court record, against each statement to find inconsistency. I already know it's the multiple stabbing thing. I hope I'm up to the task. Don't forget that you can have the witness repeat their statements as many times as you like. Everyone has to start at the beginning, remember? So those wide eyes are quite forgivable. Besides, there's no one else to defend the poor girl. You're right. I need to listen to the testimony again from the start. Alright, it's the last one. She'd stabbed the victim multiple times, he thinks, but there's only one stab wound. So there we go. Alright, ready? Objection! The accusatory cry that just welled up from deep inside me. I think I finally understand. Every time Cosmo-sama and Naruhodo-san have stood here at this bench, stakes have been very, very high indeed.
What's the meaning of that menacing pose, Council?
Yo, she did it with conviction. As one should when you are objecting.
I'd like the witness to clarify something for me.
Who? What? Where? When? How?
Not you, Sasaki-san. The query is directed at Inspector Hosonaga.
Not me.
Your statement just now. You said the victim was stabbed multiple times.
Yes, that's right. As I said when I entered the hut, the defendant was already standing over the victim, bloody knife in hand, like a murderous demon.
And yet, that cannot be.
What? Get to the point, please, Counsel.
The post-mortem report clearly states that the victim was stabbed one time only.
Ah!
In other words, Inspector Hosonaga's testimony is clearly flawed.
Nah.
Sasaki-san!
Me?
You claim to have seen Membami-san in the throes of stabbing the victim.
Yes! Yes, I did! Wildly!
But both you and the inspector confirmed the same point. But there was already blood on the knife that you saw the defendant holding.
Yes, and?
It's quite simple. We know the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there's no way that there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing hadn't already occurred.
True! And what exactly is your contention, Counsel? Are you ever going to tell us?
Yes, Your Excellency. There's only one logical conclusion. What Sasaki-san in fact saw was not the moment that the defendant stabbed the victim at all, but the moment that the defendant in fact withdrew the blade from the victim's body.
That can't be! Excellent work, Susato. You exploded at them with that objection and then proceeded to pull them apart systematically.
Well, this takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousin staged a scene much like this in that trial 9 months ago. A half-witted child with a half-baked objection, attempting to steal the show.
You're right, there was certain similarities. Except that so-called half-witted child mentioned out with the prosecution was only half a head of hair.
Slender! My head is quite adequately dressed.
Is it though? Is it though, buddy? Look. We all have eyes. We can all see. Is it though?
In any case, all this talk of stabbing and withdrawing and multiple wounds, it makes not a jot of difference.
What? Why not?
Engage your brain, young man. When the accused first plunged the deadly weapon into the victim, that was the fatal blow. And it was at that moment, just as she had withdrawn the blade ready for her next strike, that the witnesses saw. The knife was already tainted with blood because because the accused had already stabbed the victim. All you have successfully shown with your little display is that the mustached author is prone to moments of extravagance.
I'm in agreement with the prosecution. If the defendant was seen wielding the blade at all, that is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion.
What if was withdrawing the blade? Then we are back where we started. Sorry? Consider this, young yokel boy. If the student girl is innocent as you claim, then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim? And with a demon's cold-blooded composure, too. The prosecution demands an explanation, and it had better be good. Why did Ray pull out the knife?
Ah, yes, going for the jugular.
What does father mean by that?
Let the court hear your answer then, counsel.
Truth is, I don't really know. But I have to come up with a plausible reason here. We don't have a case.
You know what I realized? We should probably save the game. Should we make a new save? Yeah, why not? Second game. Save. Alright.
The reason why the defendant pulled the knife blade out of the victim's body was surely so she could
Stab her again, save her life, or hide the knife. I mean, save her life is really, like, the most favorable answer here, so we should probably pick that one.
According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant.
That's correct. It's thought she would have remained conscious for a short while after sustaining the injury.
Indeed, giving her the time to take hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates her killer. The point is, being a medical research assistant, Membami-san was compelled to act when faced with a wounded victim. Instinctively, she pulled the blade out in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? It would seem this is the best we can expect of this young yokel.
Indeed.
Is it just me, or does it suddenly feel so much colder in here?
Your Excellency, if I may. Speak, witness. I would like to have another opportunity to testify. Respect to the slipshod assertion just now put forward by the yokel defense counsel, I mean.
Slipshod? An excellent idea, Inspector. Our young yokel hopeful has a modicum of knowledge when it comes to the law, it seems. But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota of common sense.
Very well, Inspector. I will permit your request. You will testify again before the court on the subject of the defense counsel's assertion. Yes, sir. I will do so flawlessly. All right. Forensic medicine primer. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor.
Is what you just said true, Inspector? Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily?
Pierced the lung and resulted in fatal hemorrhage. Yes, think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the wound that prevents excessive blood loss. Until a doctor is ready to provide proper treatment, the stopper shouldn't be removed.
Oh, I see. Ha! This is why Yoko should stay on the farm! Even a quack from some obscure mountain village would have such basic knowledge.
I did think about that when we said that we pulled out the knife to save her life, but there's some situations where that is the right thing to do. Because if they move around with a knife in them, it could continue causing damage. That's another thing to think about.
Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again knows it. Oh, well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see, or pulled a blade out of a wound, so...
Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up to behave like a bandit. Shh, Dad! Gonna blow my cover!
Father, is it true what they're telling me?
Sasato! Can't call him that right now. Yes, it's basic remedial knowledge for medics. Harry would have been well aware of it. If she were to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways.
But then, why would Ray have done it? Would she have pulled out that knife in full knowledge that would be fatal to Miss Brett?
I don't know.
Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. It seems almost impossible to believe, but... my friend actually have...
Sato,
Yes?
pull yourself together. Mustn't lose sight of why we're here.
Ah!
Counsel, it's time for your cross-examination.
Oh, yes, Your Excellency.
However, must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify any issue with the established facts, I will be moving to my adjudication immediately afterwards.
I understand. Believing in your clients and fighting for their cause till the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard.
Cross-examination time! Forensic medicine primer. Alright. Pulling a wound from a blade without thinking can cause heavy bleeding.
Say doing it without thinking could be a problem. Does that mean that if you use due care and attention, it would be alright?
I wouldn't have thought that needed spelling out, really, but... the blade is like a stopper in the wound. Remove it and a serious hemorrhage will occur. In other words, a medic would need to be present before any attempt was made to withdraw the blade. Doing it without thinking would be madness. You can't just do it.
Oh, well, thank you for such thorough explanation. You see, Counsel, when you act without thinking, the result is a bloodbath.
Back to the witness testimony, please. Basic knowledge.
Hold it!
In that case, there's an obvious explanation here.
Which is...
Clearly, the defendant Ray Membami-san does not possess an ounce of sense.
Why would you say that? You could think that, that's fine, but you really shouldn't say shit like that out loud about your defendant. I'm just saying, that's not good. What do you think about that, Professor Mikotoba? I'm sure that you should be labeling your best friend as lacking in common sense.
Well,
thought it would be better than labeling her as a murderer. Wait, hold on. I'm not sure that you should be labeling your best friend as lacking in common sense. Okay, oops, sorry. I was like, hold on, that doesn't sound right.
I don't know young people today. If that's friendship, I don't understand it.
Careful, counsel. A lack of common sense can be a very dangerous thing.
Oh dear, that recoiled on me rather badly.
That's life, I'm afraid. A lesson everyone must learn. Hopefully you can see now that this is really basic medical knowledge. Being involved in medical research, Membami-san would certainly have been aware of it. No good reason why she should have pulled the knife out.
Hold it! But the defendant had suddenly encountered somebody she knew lying on the ground bleeding to death. Sight could have shocked her delicate sensibilities, causing her to remove the blade inadvertently.
I really don't think inadvertent actions can explain this. Woman is a medical research assistant. I can't imagine she would behave so irrationally.
Oh, but irrational behavior is a woman's prerogative, isn't it?
And you know, like, please just not say shit like this, Sato! Oh dear. You have a lot to learn about women. Only a small-minded man could have such bigoted views.
Oh dear. Perhaps I'm letting my male persona take hold a little too much.
Well, have I managed to convey the basics now? That should cover the medical side of the argument. She had a motive.
Whatever the motive, it just isn't in Membami-san's nature to do something so awful.
But she had both motive and opportunity. It's very hard to argue against.
But you don't know the defendant. And you, counsel, do not appear to know the law!
Yes, evidence is the only way to convince the court of your argument, not feelings.
With this fledgling to defend her, I would almost say I pity the accused. So do I.
Inspector, you will reiterate your point about the defendant's motive, please. Ah, yes, Miss Brett was in many ways the sworn enemy of Membami-san. Dr. Wilson was a highly respected mentor.
Hold it! Well, yes, that's true. Dr. Wilson recognized Membami-san's talent and offered her the position of assistant despite her being a woman. She was extremely grateful to him.
Yes, the Englishman appears to have been a very broad-minded individual. Dr. Wilson had no time for outdated traditions. He met with opposition, of course, but he believed firmly in Membami-san's abilities. Clearly, the defendant was in the man's debt, which only serves to prove my point.
This is hopeless. I can't find a single crack in this testimony anywhere. If Ray knew that withdrawing the knife from the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life further, I just can't think of any way to explain why she did it.
Sato, it's at times like these when it's especially important to remember the fundamentals.
Fundamentals?
Evidence is what counts in the courtroom, isn't it?
Of course, but I've been through the court record dozens of times already.
I think perhaps you're forgetting something, though. You needn't take the evidence at face value. You can and must examine it in greater detail, too.
Ah!
I realize this is your first time playing the role of lawyer in the courtroom. So if you need reminding of the rudiments, you need only ask. I'll do my very best to help.
Examine the evidence in the court record. It's an idea, certainly. What should I do?
I know what to do.
Come to think of it,
Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san were always turning evidence over and over in their hands. Will you let me do it now? Can I was... Yes! Finally! It wouldn't let me do it earlier. We take off the pen's lid. Now let's unscrew the barrel, shall we? Ooh, what is this? This must be the little reservoir that holds the ink. Yes, you fill it by drawing ink from the bottle up through the nib. Something wrong, Father? So there doesn't actually appear to be any ink in there, that's all. Oh yes, you're right. It's pretty much empty. Well, it could be on the verge of running out, I suppose. It doesn't look like it's ever been used. There's a very small amount of liquid inside. Some sort of emblem here, look. But it isn't a Yume University one. Must belong to some other organization, I suppose. A business of some kind. That would seem to imply the pen doesn't in fact belong to Ray. Oh. An emblem of some description. Okay, okay. The RM initials are very clearly engraved here. And the fact that Miss Brett was clinging to this pen in her dying moments is very clearly a message too. Identify our killer, you mean? I don't think there can be any doubt that this is a key piece of evidence in this case. I'm glad it checks it off now, so it doesn't force you. You can kind of know what conversations you already done. It doesn't force you to recheck it. All right, well, that's done. Yes, I need to examine things in greater detail. Ah, by the look in your eyes, I see it's coming back to you. Go through the court record again and have a thorough look at everything. May I just find a clue? Yes, I'll do it straight away. Already done. Way ahead of you, Dad. Alright. Voted for killing. Man, the victim murdered 9 months ago. Dr. Wilson was the defendant's highly respected mentor. Well, now how do we bring up the matter of the pen, though? Should I press it again? I guess let's try pressing it again. Whatever the motive, it's not in her to do something awful. Alright, this is the same so far. Only evidence. Sworn enemy. Alright, Dr. Wilson was the defendant's highly respected mentor. Yes? Okay. Well, yeah, that's true. She was very grateful. Okay. Why did she do it? Remember the fundamentals, look at evidence. I know what to do. Alright. Maybe there's something else I should look at. Oh, I can look at the newspaper now. Nice. Alright. Rakus England Returnee Tell All. This is the interview with you and Saseki-san, is it, Father? It looks as though it was quite an exchange. Yes, he became a little over animated when he was talking about his time in England. Yeah, he'd do that. It's fine. Photographer managed to capture the moment his hand karate chopped me in on the neck. Do hope you weren't hurt. What's going on in the back here?
It's the newspaper from Saseki-san. Seems to be an important article on the back page as well. Exclusive, deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory.
What?
From Yume's medical research? Father, isn't that your lab?
What the? Let me see that. The poison's been stolen?
It's this morning's paper that Saseki-san gave us. Are you saying you didn't know?
As embarrassing as that is for the head of the laboratory, I didn't. Not heard of any such thing. Where on earth could the reporter have gleaned this information?
Come to think of it, there was no article mentioning the story in our paper this morning, was there?
Highly toxic poison we've been working on in the strictest confidence. I'd put Ray in charge of the project.
Ray? She was managing it?
What's written here is true. Means that she tried to hide the theft from me. Moreover, the details were leaked somehow.
I don't believe it.
Need to read this article very carefully. Article about the poison has been entered in the court record. Okay, cool. Let's read that. Exclusive! Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. Following a lecture at Yume by Soseki Natsume on 11th of August, it's come to light that a very disturbing incident took place. The deadly poison being secretly developed in the university's forensic science laboratory was stolen. Even the smallest amount entering the body, either via the mouth or via a wound from a poison-laced blade, would prove fatal in minutes. Current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. Onset of symptoms occur in minutes, starting with impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of the pupils, prior to death. She must have suspected that the blade was poisoned. Such symptoms would be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids, rumored to have been commissioned by the military. Alright, that's definitely a reason. Pull out the blade if she suspects it's poisoned. Alright, that gives us something to go on. Faces knowledge and even... There's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull out the knife from the victim. Actually, there is. If she saw it was poisoned. Alright, are we ready? We're gonna try this. Ready? Objection!
No, there is one possibility. One very good reason why the defendant might have decided to withdraw the knife from the victim's wound.
What?
Ha! The yokel not only has a poor grasp of the law, but is also a poor loser. Tell us then, what possibility do you think you've identified? It's here, in this newspaper article. An article about a deadly poison having been stolen from a laboratory at the Imperial Yume unit.
Objection!
The victim perished from a stab wound. Poison has no relevance in this case. But
Oscar Ouchie, you will let the defense speak.
But a newspaper article? This court cannot rely on the kind of hearsay those wretched publications carry.
Bro, what the shut the hell up. Counsel for the defense? I'm going to need some tangible basis for your claim. You will indicate to the court precisely what part of the newspaper article mentioned affirms your assertion.
Your Excellency! Yes, of course. Thank you. Ray would never have done something to further endanger Miss Brett's life without just cause. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says, deadly in tiny quantities, why the poison is being developed.
Proof fatal in minutes. I want to say it's why it's being developed because she probably saw the eyes. All right, let's try it. According to the article, the development of the poison was requested by the military. Yes. Troubling revelation indeed. Oh, it's very worrying.
And yet even more worrying is how this yokel is trying to manipulate the court with nothing more than rumors.
Oh, I didn't want to talk about the military. Oh my god. The other part where I guess we're gonna talk about how it's fatal first. Okay. But I feel sure Ray had a good reason for her actions, and I feel sure the explanation is somewhere in this newspaper article. Try reading the article again. Yes. Reason why the defendant pulled the knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says deadly in tiny quantities. The article reveals the following property about the poison in question. When the toxin enters the body on a knife laced with the poison, it's rapidly absorbed and causes death in minutes. Are you suggesting? The knife used to attack Miss Brett was laced with this very poison. It would explain why the defendant, Mbami-san, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible. Yes, the truth is, it was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body. What? Hey, we did it.
Objection! This is complete and utter nonsense!
Not at all. The defendant withdrew the knife blade from the victim's body not to accelerate the woman's demise, but to save her life, and the prosecution cannot deny the possibility.
Have you not read the post-mortem report? The cause of death was hemorrhage! The word poison appears nowhere in the document.
Well, that's because acting quickly to remove the blade, the defendant prevented the poison from taking hold.
Objection! Oh, please, this is clearly desperation. The weasel's last breaking of wind. Poison has nothing whatsoever to do with this case, as I believe the defense is well aware. We have no proof that the information in this wretched newspaper article is at all reliable anyway.
In that situation, what the student should have done is wait for medical assistance to arrive. But instead, you claim she suspected poisoning and took the potentially lethal decision to remove the blade. She must have had a strong reason for suspicions then, or the argument makes no sense.
Exactly! Well put, Inspector! On what grounds did she do it, yokel?
The last page. The eyes. I did really suspect the stolen poison was involved. If you want grounds, I'll give you grounds. What?
You can't possibly!
From your expression, Counsel, it would appear those are not empty words. But naturally, as you stand in this courtroom as a lawyer, must be aware that words alone, empty or not, are of no value in our modern justice system. The court demands evidence. Yes, Your Excellency. I'm well aware of that. I've seen it many times. My place at his side in the Old Bailey. In that case, Counsel, you will present proof to the court now. What evidence demonstrates a clear link between this case, the poison in the newspaper article? Oh, the autopsy report, because it talks about her eyes being contracted.
Take that!
I would ask the court to refer to the notes section of the post-mortem report, which reads, extreme meiosis, pupil constriction, was observed in the victim. Clearly, being a yokel with no knowledge of forensic science, I have no idea, so please do tell me. Presumably, the fact that this condition of the victim was noted in the post-mortem report means that it's an unusual symptom of death?
Well...
Under normal circumstances, the pupils dilate when someone dies. There was extreme constriction instead. That's most certainly unusual, yes.
What are you doing, you yokel detective?
In the newspaper article, there's the following information about the stolen poison. Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death.
What?
The defendant, upon seeing the victim stabbed in the back, happened to notice that the pupils of Miss Brett's eyes had constricted severely. Yes, as a medical research assistant, she would have suspected poison immediately, without doubt. Prosecutor Ouchie, I think you'll agree this is very compelling evidence.
You! Yokel student and yokel professor!
Hey! You can't just call everybody a yokel just because you don't agree. Rude. I believe the defense has expertly demonstrated a credible reason for the defendant's actions.
Ow!
Eugene Mikotoba? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe you are best placed here to confirm or deny the veracity of the defense counsel's argument. You will tell the court the truth about the details reported in this newspaper, please. Pains me to have to admit it, but I'm afraid I don't know. You don't know? Toxin was kept under lock and key in my laboratory, certainly, but I was unaware of any theft. Do you mean to tell the court that the reports of this theft are unfounded? No, Your Excellency. Without returning to the laboratory to investigate myself, I couldn't say.
Ha! Listen to the bumbling academic. Unaware of the theft of secret state research from his own workplace until he reads of it in the newspaper.
I take full responsibility for the incompetence of my supervision.
Father. A pitiful situation for a university professor. You should have more control over your students, rather than allowing them off on killing sprees.
That's totally unfounded.
She said, "Hold it! None of this is Professor Mikotoba's fault! It's all my fault!"
Hey! Mbami-san, you stand accused here. Outbursts like this will not be tolerated.
But it was me. I was the one who noticed the poison we were developing had been stolen that day.
What?
So you knew. I'd been placed in charge of observing the project. It was the day that the professor and Soseki-san were interviewed together for the newspaper. That's when I noticed that some of the poison was missing. Just a tiny amount it was.
Why didn't you let me know immediately?
I was scared. The whole project was supposed to be confidential, but some of the toxin had somehow been taken. So I decided I'd try to get it back before anyone else found out. Because I had a very good idea who the thief was. Thief? You don't mean... Yes, of course. It was that dainty English woman.
Mr. Zelbritt?
That's why I decided to join the little group of people going to the seaside. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well, now, whatever do you mean? And then, she suddenly got to her feet, or falling to her knees in front of me and collapsing on the floor. That's when I saw the knife in her back. I couldn't understand what had just happened. And then A moment later, I was seized with fear. The pupils of her eyes had shrunk to tiny points, to tiny pinpoints.
I don't believe it. In other words, you realize that the victim was suffering the effects of the stolen poison.
My mind started racing. I hadn't seen anything past Miss Brett's lips whilst I'd been with her. She left only one possible way for the poison to have entered her body. On the blade of the knife in her back.
And the train of thought was what spurred you to withdraw the blade.
Yes. If the amount that had entered her bloodstream was small enough, she might still have a chance. That's what I hoped. Really, I'm so sorry for staying silent all this time.
Your attempt to hide the truth of what happened is not something that can be overlooked. However, I have duly noted the courage with which you confessed in the end.
Thank you, Your Excellency. It's barely perceptible, but I do think balance has shifted a little here. This courtroom now.
Objection!
Your Excellency, do not be deceived. The victim just collapsed before your eyes, you say? Well, Membami-san, if that's the case, perhaps you could explain how Miss Brett came to be stabbed? Well, have no answer because the simple truth is that you stabbed the victim motivated by revenge.
Let's look at the photo really quick. Where could someone have stabbed her? Oh, there's a hole right there. Y'all see the hole in the shack? Yeah, you could just walk. If that hole's big enough, you could just slip the blade through there. She was sitting on the stool. Yep.
Objection! You have no conclusive evidence to prove that assertion, do you? Oh, I have evidence, and it is very much conclusive. What's the prosecution counsel up to? It was brief, but he hesitated for a moment there, almost sure of it.
You will produce the aforementioned evidence at once, Prosecutor Aochi.
Have some praise is due, young yokel student. What? I'd imagine there would be no need for me to submit this evidence. But you've brought this on yourself. What the?
Okay, hold on. Here's the problem. There's a couple problems, actually. There's two problems. First problem, this is clearly from that crack by the stool, right? This is clearly from that crack. Because there's the door. This is the doorway. It's taken from the back of the shack. Second problem is there's this crack, this very familiar crack in the photo. Much like right here. So I suspect, and this is just a wild guess at this point, of course, because I don't actually know. There is a photographer and presumably the journalist, you know, one and the same. Presumably the journalist following around Sasaki-san who's taking pictures of him whenever he speaks. He's probably the one who took this photo and then did the interview that same day. And since he's conveniently behind the shack, he's probably the one who stabbed Giselle Brett. This is definitely, if this, just considering the size of this hole for him to take this picture and the smallness of this blade, it's definitely big enough for him to stab her through there.
Could a more damning shot exist? Cruelty in the air on that beach is almost palpable. This This evidence, more than any other, reveals the true extent of the accused's murderous nature. For it shows the precise moment that Mbami-san plunged her dagger into the victim's back.
Or when she's trying to pull it out.
No, that's not true. No! I don't believe it. Ah!
Order! 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 Counsel for the defense, was it you who was responsible for that shrill scream that just pierced my courtroom?
Perhaps his voice is yet to break. These yokels are slow of mind and slow to mature. I'll show you who's slow to mature.
Careful now, Susato's starting to show her face here. Often said that the picture is worth 1,000 words, and here we have ample proof. Court will accept this extremely cogent photographic print as evidence. Incriminating photograph. Photograph taken at the moment of the victim was attacked. My friend Ray can be seen kneeling over Miss Brett. Okay, we do got an ad starting real soon. We're gonna take another quick break. I'm gonna stretch, run to the bathroom, all that good stuff. I hope you guys can do the same. And then we'll play for a little bit longer. All right? So I'll see you guys in just a few minutes. It's a good time for a quick break while we let this new evidence sink in.
No way.
Away.
No way.
What?
All right, go ahead and get blasted. Leave while we're in the center.
What are we doing?
How do I leave group?
Why is this happening?
Oh,
Please grab the
Double-
watch,
it's just-
please.
This is a bannable offense. To my ears.
the cat.
All right, burning down brawler. Dude, well, not burning. We're taking again. Okay, warp time.
High and low.
Okay.
Typical. Most of the time, these trees won't stop rustling. As soon as I need their opinion, then silence is golden. Thanks for the spirit wood. I think you've got some issues that we need to maybe talk about. Ooh, money though. Cheerio, Scout! Hope you're settling into your solo camping adventure. Don't be disheartened if you can't find a needy ghost immediately. I intentionally picked a safe island that's not too haunted. When you finally find a ghost, try to help it make peace with itself, and when you do it, you'll finally graduate to 2nd degree. Signed, Scoutmaster Blake. Yes, I'll write to you every day, unless I get busy. 1 common log cabin, large potted plant. Okay. Sir? Scoutmaster Blake. Hi. Hi. Hello. Parfait here. You certainly did not send me to a relatively unhaunted island where I might take me a little bit to find a ghost friend. You, in fact, sent me to a very haunted island of bears. Sir? One that curses people and traps them here. So thanks for that. And now I'm back from outer space. I don't want to be DMCA'd though, so I should probably shut my face. Let's continue. Help here. I need a savior to rescue me from this crisis. Great, thanks, I hate it. Alright, I'm back, welcome back. I'm back, y'all should be back too. Hey, thanks for the Momo Pyramid, Darjeelingling. I just saw him, he's in the hallway being very cute. No, we're back now, okay. let's keep going for a little longer here. Got this new incriminating photo. That's definitely concerning.
Can't believe he's had a photograph like that up his sleeve this entire time. It's such a stark image. I'm genuinely lost for words. Wait a minute. I don't understand. How did you... I mean, who took that photograph? Ray.
Objection!
That's of no importance here. Stop trying to divert attention.
Actually, it's a very good question. I would like to know as well. What is the name of this photographer / journalist?
Oh.
Objection!
That's an absurd thing to say. It's crucially important. Whoever took this photographic print was a witness to Miss Brett's death. The court must be allowed to hear this person's testimony. Ah!
I will uphold the defense's demand. Prosecution will reveal the identity of the person responsible for taking this photograph at once.
Well, I'm afraid I can't do that. Pardon? You see, this print arrived at the Imperial Police Bureau headquarters by express post yesterday. But there was nothing to indicate the sender's name or address. The provenance of the print is unknown.
I can help with that. I can tell you exactly who took the print, took the photo. Goodness!
We need to understand then, Counsel, that in full knowledge of the fact that this photograph has the murkiest of origins, you nevertheless believe it to be fit for submission as evidence in the Supreme Court?
When you first produced that print before, I noticed that you hesitated for a brief moment. Because you knew it wasn't completely reliable evidence, didn't you?
Silence, you yokel student and blabbering professor!
Rude.
What matters is the blatant truth that this print so eloquently expresses. The defendant's already admitted to pulling out the blade from the wound. Clearly, this isn't the moment that the knife was plunged in the victim's back, but the moment it was withdrawn? Don't waste this court's time with your rambling.
Indeed, without knowledge of who produced this print, we have no means of verifying the claim. And the scenic captors is without doubt the most compelling evidence presented to the court. If the defense is unable to shed any further light on the matter, I believe the conclusion is clear. No, I can shed light. I can do this.
Oh no!
Sasato, this is the time for you to fight. What you've established so far is true, then there can be no doubt. This photograph shows the moment that Ray withdrew the blade from the victim.
Yes, we just need to prove that somehow. You'll have plenty of time to rue your defeat on the slow train back to the provinces. And to rue the day you came up against Taketsuchi Ouchi in the court of law! I can't determine who took this photograph, and the trial is going to come to an end. There must be a clue somewhere. There must be some way of working out who took it.
Easy. Well, counsel?
Your Excellency, the burning question is who took that photograph, and the truth is,
I have the answer.
this isn't about whether I can or can't come up with the answer now. I simply have to. The identity of the person who took this dramatic photographic print is, I assure you, something the defense can and will reveal. What? No! You can't possibly! But as you so boldly claim that you can, please do enlighten us. Unfortunately, I'm unable to present a name. How utterly underwhelming. Did you really believe you could? However, I am able to present evidence. Defense has a piece of evidence that reveals important details about the photographer's identity. What?
Very well then, counsel. Present your proof to the court. Which piece of evidence do you claim reveals something about the identity of the mystery photographer? The newspaper article, because it's got the same damn crack in the lens.
Take that!
What is that? Newspaper again? Raucous England returnee tells all.
It's not the headline that's relevant here, Your Excellency. It's the photograph. If you look at it closely, you'll notice that there are some white lines on the right-hand side.
Ah, yes indeed. They'd already caught my eye, as it happens.
Ha! What of it? A shadow of some kind, presumably. The branches of a tree or the like.
Indoors? Are you fucking stupid? And white lines for a shadow? The hell is wrong with you? There are no trees growing inside my laboratory at the university, I can assure you.
Now, if you look closely at this photograph...
Good gracious!
Yes, exactly the same pattern of lines is present on this photograph, too.
Objection!
Well, that tells us nothing! Ha ha ha! Yes, the shadow of some kind, definitely, from the branches of a tree.
God, you're an idiot, ouchie.
There wouldn't be any trees growing inside a hut at the beach, Council.
What's quite remarkable about it is that the two patterns are absolutely identical. How could such an extraordinary similarity have transpired?
Curious matching pattern that appears in both photographic prints is a result of
photographer's technique and camera defects and tree branches. Camera defect.
Obviously, it must be due to a problem with the camera used to take the photographs. Wait, with the photographic device?
Yes, we can confidently say that the camera's lens must be scratched. And that the scratched lens causes unwanted lines to appear on every print taken with the device.
In short, the two photographs under consideration here were taken with the same camera. What? There must be hundreds of such camera devices here in the capital. It would be utterly impossible to identify the owner of this particular one.
Objection!
I think you're forgetting, Prosecutor Ouchie, that one of the photographs featured in a newspaper article. A newspaper? Ah! That's right. The author of that article is the mystery witness to this crime. What? Ah!
What? Animo? Many memo! That's what he said. I see why you were called a raucous England returnee.
What are you yelling about? You've already testified!
It's many memo! I tell you, many memo! Mo!
Saseki-san, what was that? Did you say many memo?
Ever since I returned to Japan, a reporter from the Shoyu News has been hounding me, following my every move. A reporter by the name of Raiten Manimamo. Yes, hounding me from dawn till dusk. Also, notably, initials of RM. And God, I hope the Shoyu News has a very particular emblem. That would be so well.
Ah, now that he mentions it.
Secretly spy, snapshots, scribbles, stories, and scupper my privacy. Y'all see this? Y'all see that armband? Man, does that armband look really familiar? Wow, that doesn't look at all like this. Does it? Yup. I think we have our murderer right here. This dude. I'm on to you, newsman! Could that same reporter be? A camera to the left of him! A notebook to the right! There I am, stuck in the middle with writing Mary Memo! So you're saying that this picture was taken by Mary Memo! Yes, my lord, your excellency, esquire! Officer! Find this newspaper reporter at once and bring him to my courtroom. We will adjourn for a short recess in the meantime.
Oh, yes, Your Excellency. Yes, as you say, Your Excellency.
And one more thing. I want this knife, the murder weapon, examined for traces of poison. Ooh, we got the murder weapon. You will solicit the assistance of the Imperial University's medical department for the task. Understood?
Meh. Many Memo!
To be continued? Oh, no. Well, I guess it is. I know it hasn't been that long since we took the break, but that means we're probably at the halfway point, and it is a good time to stop for the week. Because we're going to be bringing in the reporter next week, and we definitely know he did it. And usually when you can bring in the person who's definitely a killer, means we're gonna that's gonna be the last part where it ends. Usually when you bring him in, I think I'm pretty sure it's him. Like, everything is just screaming this dude is the murderer, but the question is why. We still don't know what's going on in the British-Japan relationships that first of all prompted Giselle Brett to kill Dr. H. Wilson, John H. Wilson. Like, why that all happened, and then now why she, in turn, is also being killed. So there's a lot of questions going on here, but they're going to have to wait till next week. So for now, let's get to the other screen. I know. We're gonna pick that. Don't worry about a game. I know, you're so excited to bring us. You're typing really slow, but we're going back to the title. Wait, hold on. I didn't need to save because I was gonna... Yeah, it's fine. Let's go to the title. Alright. We're gonna end it here for the weekend. And then next week we shall resume. I think we'll probably do a couple more of the escapades first before we dive back into the main game itself. If I can, I'll try to start a little bit earlier as well. So if we start early enough, maybe we'll finish all of the escapades. Otherwise, we'll just do a couple, and then leave the rest for later. Again, take about 15 to 20 minutes each. So yeah, yeah, it's gonna do it for this week. Boop. Hey, thanks all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the Ace Attorney shenanigans. Always a good time. Always a lovely time to dive into these games. They're so fun. But for now, we're going to call it here for the evening. We'll pick this up next week. So thanks to all the lurkers, chatters, VoD watchers, everybody stop by. 21 Snakes, Neoneko, Darjalingling. I appreciate everyone who comes by. And all the future VoD watchers as well. Y'all are cool people. I hope you guys are enjoying the ride. We will finish up this case next week, and then I think I mentioned this before, but the week after is a break. I will be out of town at the Final Fantasy XIV Fan Fest, although I don't think I can get into the venue directly anymore. So, yeah, we'll see. See what happens. I'll be around, though. Let's see. What can we go? I think Neoneko's still on, so let's go say hi. Oh, he's got a cat cam on. Okay, y'all can go look at the cat. Let's go raid Neoneko. Alright. So, thanks again, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Tomorrow we'll be raiding with the Star Onion Brigade again, and then Monday, of course, is Ironmon, and then in between, sometime after, you know, more Final Fantasy 16. Yep. At the very latest on Thursday, but maybe we can squeeze some in on Tuesday or something as well. But for now, have a great night, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. I appreciate everyone who came by. Thank you again. And I will see you guys next time. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Take care.